大家好，我是安妮老师 and welcome to my channel, 安妮老师。量词 or measure word. It needs to be appropriate and specific, which makes it complicated. It is placed between the number and a noun. This is one of the most complicated part in learning Mandarin. Let me list the reasons why. One measure word can be used in two or more nouns. An example will be the measure word 个, which is the most frequent used measure word among new learners. 一个人, 一个汉字, and 一个国家 are some examples of using the measure word 个 in different nouns. Another reason is there are some nouns that can have two measure words. For example, you can use the measure word 个 and the measure word 位 for the noun 朋友. That would be 一个朋友 or 一位朋友. Both mean one friend. The third reason would be there are some nouns that have specific measure word. An example will be for the animal horse or 马. The only measure word that you can use is the measure word 匹 and nothing else. That would be 一匹马, which means one horse. One good reason is that the measure word that you will use for a noun refers on its quality and characteristics. Examples are 一杯酒 and 一瓶酒. Both measure words are used for 酒, which means beer, but the measure word 杯 refers to a glass, while the measure word 瓶 refers to a bottle. And now you see why learning measure words or 量词 is hard and complicated. If so, how are these measure words created and why is it important to know how to use this measure word correctly? I personally just remember these measure words and apply it accordingly, but I never got to understand these measure words. I have researched online for some answers and I am glad to share with you what I have found out. Let me start with how these measure words are created. Some measure words are created from shapes, mainly because people tend to see physical characteristic of an object. Example would be the measure word 粒, which means a grain or granule. The measure word 粒 is commonly used for objects or food that are small and granule. 一粒米, 一粒种子, 一粒沙子 are some examples in using the measure word 粒. Next, some measure words are created from a place or object that is related to the noun. Examples are the measure word 长 and 桌. As an individual word, 长 is a place that have a large space, and as a measure word, it can be used in any event, occasions, and activities done in a large place. 一场球赛, 一场电影, 一场暴雨, to name a few. 桌 means table. And where else can you place your food? It is on the table. So we use the measure word 桌 or 一桌菜. Another way this measure word is created is from different container in which you put the objects or food in. Examples would be 杯, 盒, and 包. For liquids, it is usually poured into a glass. So the most common one is 杯, 一杯水, 一杯茶, 一杯咖啡, to name a few. 盒 means a case or a box. You can use it for 一盒火柴, 一盒饼干, and 一盒球 铅笔. For most things, we just put it inside a bag, in which the measure word 包 comes from. Just like our example, 一包糖. If you want to put emphasis if the bag is big or small, you can place 大 and 小, just like in 一大包衣服, 一小包糖果. Now that we know on how these measure words are created, we now move on to our next question, which is, why do we need to know these measure words? I understand how these measure words can be so confusing and complicated, but knowing which measure word to use is beneficial. It does not only boost your vocabulary and Mandarin skills, but also because of the following reasons. First on the list is to distinguish the quantity of the noun. Let's have mi or rice for our example. For a piece or granule of rice, it will be 一粒米. Then a ball of rice is 一碗米. For a bag of rice is 一包米. And lastly, a sack of rice is 一袋米. 袋, 包, 碗, and 粒 are all measure words that is used for rice or mi. Quantity of the noun are referring to is different from each other. Measure word does not only distinguish the quantity of the noun, but it also distinguishes the characteristic of the noun. Let me try it with rose or 玫瑰花. If you refer to the flower itself, you should use the measure word 朵, 一朵玫瑰花. The measure word now changes to 枝 if you are referring to the flower and leaves of the rose, which is now 一枝玫瑰花. The measure word 株 is now being used if you refer to the flower, stem, and leaves of the rose. 一株玫瑰花. The fourth measure word is 树, which means a bouquet. 一束玫瑰花. The last measure word is 盆, which means a pot. 一盆玫瑰花. Another reason why these measure words are important is because it is used to distinguish one word from the other. In some Chinese words, there are some cases that they have exactly the same tone and pronunciation, but they have entirely different meaning from each other. An example will be the words 公事, which means official business, 公事 means formula, and 公事 that means offensive. If we use the most common measure word 个 on all three words, it will be hard to distinguish one from the other. But with the use of proper measure words, it will mean three different things. And those are 一件公事, which means one official business, 一项公事, one formula, and 一种公事, one kind of offense. Now, I have one question that I think most of you can relate with. Can I just use the measure word 个 for everything, especially if I don't know which is the appropriate or proper measure word to use? Well, according to the article that I read, it is a wise move, but it is not highly recommendable. Why? Because measure word is created for a lot of reasons, as I mentioned a while ago. I can give an example. The measure word 双 means pair, so 一双手 means a pair of hands. But if you replace the measure word 双 to 个, it will now be 一个手, which means one hand, and that changes entirely the meaning of the phrase. Apart from those reasons, the relation between the measure word and the noun is so specific and appropriate, in which these measure words has been part of the Chinese language and culture that makes the language more special, different, and unique. And that's all for the lesson of introduction for measure word. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to hit subscribe button with a bell to be updated for my upcoming videos. I will be discussing some commonly used measure words or 量词 together with their description and common noun that goes with it. Thank you for watching this video. Take care and have a great day. This is Annie 老师, now signing off. 再见大家。